Mic check. Massive Action Podcast. Oh, that's it. We're live on TikTok. Let me know if you gonna hear me on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I turned them off. I didn't know we were doing.
Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop. Represent, gotta do hella big, had to run it back again.
Live on TikTok also. My man Aaron. We're also live on YouTube. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Jonathan? Massive Action Podcast.
Let it drop.
Massive Action Podcast. Everything auto technician related, from starting a business to generating new business systems, operations, investment strategies, insurance claims, supplements, all that good stuff. So it's more or less the business side of it. And if y'all on TikTok, y'all can if y'all have any questions, we'll definitely get to your questions. I got my man Aaron right here, co-host. And usually what we'll do on the Massive Action podcast is we'll usually get questions that people have asked on our YouTube or maybe on our TikTok videos. And we'll just kind of go into those questions, see if we can help them out, answer those questions.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do we have?
First question is, let's go over the questions before we start.
Yeah.
We're going to go over some basic equipment to get started and maybe a good layout for a shop.
Okay.
Keep it running smoothly. We're going to talk about scanners to scan vehicles.
Okay.
Let's see. How the importance of building relationships with other business partners and suppliers.
Okay.
Subletting jobs.
Okay.
And when to do that, and then dealing with challenging customers and disputes.
Okay.
So, what's the basic equipment that you need to get started on doing body work?
Basic equipment. If you're gonna want to open your own company, open your own shop, is gonna be. I would always say, you know what? Invest in a good compressor. Invest in a good compressor. Reason being is you want to make sure that you have enough air. That way, you're not having to wait for you're not having to wait for the compressor to fill up. So, if you're going to be doing a lot of body work, you want to make sure you have a compressor that can keep up, because especially if you're going to use like a file sander, or you're going to use like a grinding disc, a cutoff wheel, you want to make sure that you have enough air to kind of keep to work. You don't want to have to be working and then stopping and working and stopping. So for sure, it's going to be to invest in a very good air compressor, and also to make sure you invest in very good water traps. Mm-hmm. The water traps are going to be the main thing, because what happens is, like, if you're running your compressor and and it starts to make a lot of water, like moisture. Yeah. What's going to happen is it's going to start to mess up your tools, because it's putting water in the tools.
The rust is going to come out.
Yeah, it's going to start. It's going to start shooting water through your tools and through your sander. And what also too, if you don't have a good water trap, let's say you're going to do a paint job, right? And you're DAing the car, you're sanding it, and what's going to happen? It's going to start to throw out oil and water. So that water is going to go into the paint. It's going to go into the body. And so it's a higher chance of getting like fisheye dirt in the paint like that. And so also whenever you start to spray, like you're blowing off the car, you want to make sure you have a clean air. And also when you're starting to paint, I know whenever I first started, like we were getting a lot of fish eye and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was because we had like, the water traps were real dirty. We had, cheap water traps and they would always get dirt, and we actually would, also, what's really what helped us a lot too was running the proper plumbing for your pipes. If you're coming straight out the compressor, it can be kind of risky because you're just getting kind of like all that from the compressor. So we actually had like a plumbing system that we had. It dropped down, and we can have valves to like release it and stuff like that. So that actually helped. So it's gonna be your compressor, a water trap. You want to make sure you get some good lighting, for your place. That way, if you're doing it as a side job, like side hustle, and you're doing it in the evenings, you want to make sure you have enough light, to do that. Maybe like a small MIG welder. Get a small MIG welder. You want to get a MIG welder that has gas, like an argon. It's like a versus the one that it's like. So whenever you have a MIG welder, there's like it's called a flux, where the wire has like the way the MIG welder works is like whenever you're welding, the gas. You know how you ever seen those big tanks?
Yes.
The gas. What the gas does, it pushes the oxygen away from the weld, so the weld doesn't have any moisture in it from the air. And so there's a one that's a flux that whenever you're welding, like it actually burns a gas. Like there's like a film around the wire. When it burns, it kind of melts that and it throws out a gas. You want to get the argon gas one, that way you'll have a cleaner weld on that. And you can get a small, like a 130, a little small MIG welder, and that'll get the job done for body repair and stuff like that. Maybe also, those are some of the very basics to get started.
Yeah.
You can even maybe, that's pretty much it, dude. Like to get started with it, the next thing will probably be, if you want to get, a frame machine or a paint booth, so like that, you can definitely look into that. But one thing that I probably, I wish I would have probably done when I was younger is like, if I would have started my business, like, so let's just say you're gonna start your business, right? And if you're on TikTok, let me know if y'all can hear us. Just give us like a thumbs up if you can hear us on TikTok, because we have a wire to that, and I'm not sure if it's getting the proper audio. But if you can give us a thumbs up, Vic or Diana or Smiley, if you can give us a thumbs up, or like just a heart that you can hear us, just so I know the audio's there. Or check on your TikTok, see if the audio's there.
And then while I check that, what tools do you not want to go to Harbor Freight for? Like what do you want really invest in?
You think we can hear us?
Okay.
There's not really any tools you might. I think what you might not want to invest in is everything from a plasma. Like I had a plasma cutter. We had different kind of lifts. We had different porta powers, come-alongs. We had winches. Like, I think this probably might be very helpful. Is like, you don't want to be too like wide. Like what I mean by that is like how we have the tire machine. We have a tire machine. We have a balancer. Like we have like we don't even really use that. But I was like, I'm just gonna buy all this equipment, that way I can do everything, right? And what the thing was is like I started to just narrow down on one thing, and we just do minor repairs.
Yeah,
like we don't even
finding
fool
your
with
niche.
we don't fool with the tires. We don't fool with all that stuff. And so maybe just buying excess equipment that you might not need. For example, like maybe one thing you might not need is you might not need like a big ass frame, a welder. You know what I mean? Like a big welder.
Yeah.
Like they have a big welder. You might not need it because you're not gonna be welding like big old plate or anything. You know, you're gonna be welding like sheet metal, like quarter panels, patches or whatever. So you might not need a big old welder. Other thing, oh, you know what's gonna be good too? A pressure washer. Make sure that you get a good pressure washer, because the pressure washer will save you a bunch of time, especially when you're detailing stuff like that. So that's gonna be very beneficial. One thing that if you can, like, there's a lot of places that will rent. Like we lease our pressure washer, so like we pay like $20 a month, and like it's electric pressure washer, and so we don't have to worry about like gas. Like, dude, like we used to have a gas one, dude. That thing was a pain in the ass because we're always having to go buy gas. Like you never knew when it was gonna like go out on you, and that thing's loud. Like
Yeah.
it was just a pain in the ass. So try to invest in like an electric pressure washer. That'll probably be a good deal to do. One thing you can do on your pressure washer is if you find a good pressure washer, electric one, you can go to I think it's called what's that it's not Tractor Supply, it's like right there by Cavender's.
Count
It's like they sell tools. Northern Tools.
Northern Tools.
Yeah, so you can go to Northern Tools, right? And you can buy like quick disconnect for hoses and for the pressure gun. So that way you're not having like, let's say you go buy an electric pressure washer, right? And it has like this janky ass like little plastic hose on it, right? That hose is not gonna last you if you're using it a lot. So you can go to Northern Tools, and you could buy another hose, and you could buy a quick disconnect. Like it just connects real quick, and then you could that way you're not having to like round it up. Like it comes apart separate. That's very helpful as well.
So, say you got your basic equipment.
Mm-hmm.
How in a small shop, how would you set it up? That way you're more efficient with your jobs, like your layout.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really depends on your workspace. I mean, I would say, to keep it like minimize it. Like don't if you're just starting off. A common mistake that a lot of shop owners make is they want to keep everything. Like they might fix a vehicle and they're like, hey, this headlight has a small crack on it, or just the tab's broken, I'm gonna save it. Or this hood it's not the insurance said to replace it. It's not that bad, I'm gonna keep it. And so like you have all these junk parts everywhere, and like you're just kind of like hoarding all these parts. And what happens is like, you start to, it's kind of like being a hoarder, right? So like you're like, I don't want to throw it because I might need it. And so what happens is like as you start to accumulate more and more parts and junk, it narrows down your workspace.
Yeah.
And so rather than having two places to work, you might only just have one because you have all this extra junk. So eliminate all that extra junk. Like we used to save all these different paints, and like we used to say, oh, well, let's just save this paint. And man, like now you have a cabinet full of just paints. Like, and yeah, it might come in handy, but like you're just storing a bunch of junk. You know what I mean? Like we don't store any paint. Like it's only going to be for the vehicles that we're working on. And once that vehicle gone, like we just get rid of that paint. Mm-hmm. Like we're not trying to save all this paint and have all this stuff laying around, So even with the parts, like I tell the guys, like, hey, dude, like we're not trying to hoarder parts. Like, throw this shit away. Like
it also looks bad when the customer comes in.
Well, now you have to make a shelf for parts that are like, maybe one day parts. You know what I mean? Like, and it a lot of times, like, I'm pretty sure like we had some pretty good stuff that you could probably resell, and we've actually thrown some parts that maybe we bought a part and we're like, oh shit, we ordered the wrong part, or we ordered this part by accident. We actually don't need it. Like for example, let's just say that the Ram, right? Let's just say. We ordered the bumper, right? And they were like, okay, we have to order another bumper. Like, this bumper's still good. Maybe we can sell it. Like for example, we one time we ordered the wrong door for a Tesla. So that box that we have, it's a Tesla door.
Oh, wow.
So it's like $1,000 door. Like, we're not going to use it anytime soon.
Yeah.
So we might end up just throwing it away one day. Like it's gonna be like, just throw it, like fuck
Yeah.
it. But I mean, it's better than keeping all this shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Are scanners a good investment?
It depends. Like, it depends.
I know our technician was saying that he was talking to me. He was saying that some of them, like the price goes like real high for good ones.
Yeah. So the thing with the scanner, right? Like, it kind of, like it pinpoint. It can help you pin. Like if you're gonna do scanning work, like if you're gonna be like most mechanics do scan, and the reason why is because it allows them to troubleshoot. It allows them to get a wire the wiring what is it, diagram.
Mm-hmm.
It allows it. There's a bunch of different things you can do with it, but like we use a scanner to make sure we do a pre-scan. So all we do is we pre-scan the vehicles. We get a printout for that. Because we print that out, we're able to get paid off for that. So we're using the scanner to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Pre and post scan. So we do those scans, and we can, it allows us also to kind of, for example, a lot of times, if you're doing a vehicle, and let's say you take the front end off, right, and you have to move that vehicle, it might trigger the engine light because something was disconnected. Maybe the shutter or something was disconnected. Something was disconnected, so it's gonna trigger the engine light on.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is when we scan it, we can actually reset it because now everything's plugged in. So in that case, it saves us taking it to another mechanic shop. So the scanner will be a good investment if you plan to use it. The thing with the scanner is like we have to pay a monthly subscription to make sure it's updated.
Yeah.
And it stays updated. It stays updated. If you don't, you can go buy a scanner, and you can buy one at AutoZone, dude. You can buy a scanner, and it'll probably allow you to reset the engine light. But the thing with that, like if the engine light is on, if the engine light is on, that means that something's triggering that. And so you can get a scanner and you can reset it, but within 20 minutes it's gonna come back on. It's not gonna stay off. Like there's something triggering that engine light. So you either got to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
or leave the engine light on. So the scanner will kind of give you an idea of what's the problem is.
Yeah.
But you have to take the step further and go and see if that fixes the problem. So for example, like let's say if your engine light comes on and it says, okay, it's misfiring our throttle body, right? You're gonna have to go maybe clean the throttle body out, flush it out, and then reset it and then drive it to see if it comes back on, or change the throttle body out and see if that. So it's the start of the repair process. So it doesn't really fix the problem.
Yeah. And then next up, what's the importance of building better relationships with other businesses and suppliers?
I mean, you want to build, like, dude, like we've building relationship with your vendors is gonna be key. Like, because there's gonna be times when you're in a bind and you need something, and you're gonna have to call them.
Yeah.
And so think of it like this: like if I say, hey, you know what, we want to use y'all to buy parts from, right? For example, like Dodge, right? We work with one guy at Dodge. Like he hooks us up. Like we because he's on commission, so every time we buy from him, he's making money, right? And so once we build that relationship, there may be a time when maybe we mess something up. Maybe we accidentally break a headlight and that headlight's fucking $600.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, bro, like, hey, I need your favor, man. I need you to see if you can give me the best deal on this light, dude. Like, he's like, man, like, let me see what I can do. I mean, and so you can get those favors, so it's good to build those relationships. If you're just buying from random people and this and that, then whenever something comes up, you're not gonna be able to use the favor card if you need something. You know what I mean? Even with our material guy, you know, like there'd be times, you know, when we're in a bind, and he'd be like, you know what, like I'll send someone to go drop it off, and we'll pick up a check tomorrow, or don't worry about
Yeah.
it. You know, we'll just kind of deal with it later. You know, and he kind of helps us out of those binds. You know, or if we're, you know, if we're missing a color or a toner, you might be, hey, you know what, I'll go ahead and send you that toner over or whatever. You know, I'll pour some in a can, take care of you. So building those relationships is going to be very important. You know. Let me know if you have any questions on TikTok.
And then next up, we're going to be talking about subletting jobs to other shops.
Okay.
So when that would occur and the reason behind it.
Yeah. So at first, like, let's say we started doing like a lot of claims, we would have to do alignments, or we would have to do AC work, or we would have to do maybe like a lower control arm or a cradle or something, right? We would always just trying to find the cheapest person to do it. Like, we'd be like, hey, I know this mechanic, he'll come do it on the weekend or something, right? And, you know, maybe you'll pay him cash, you know, to put a cradle on or something, right? The thing with that is, like, there's no paper trail on that. So, like, it's kind of like, you know, the insurance says, hey, you know, we're going to replace the cradle on this, right? And you find someone to do it, and maybe he gives you a good deal putting it on. And yeah, he gets it on, but then now what happens is like there's no warranty on that. Like, you know, and so we stopped doing that. We're like, man, it's too risky. Like, we're not going to, like, why are we're paying this dude cash, you know, or we're paying him to do this. But if something comes up, like, he's not gonna want to come back and fix it.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's like, hey, I'm once I do, I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
like, and so what we did was we started to build relationship with other repair mechanic shops, and says, hey, you know what, this is what we do, and so that way when we have something, we're on the same page. You know, like, we're like, hey, we need this cradle replaced. Okay, it's gonna be this much. Okay, got it. But can y'all make sure y'all document everything and take photos, so we can relay that to the insurance, or if you find anything else, let us know, so that we can let the insurance know. You know what I'm saying? What did he say?
I didn't see. Subbing all the hell jobs.
Oh, subbing all the hell jobs. Yeah, I mean, we stopped kind of doing that hell jobs as well, like, because you know, we're either gonna fix them or replace the parts. You know what I mean? Like, because then now you're just managing a job for someone else, and they're making a money. So, do you know what he's talking about when he says subbing all the hell jobs?
Like, if there's a hailstorm, the
Yeah.
influx.
So like, whenever there's a lot, they're called like storm chaser guys.
Yeah.
So let's say there's a hailstorm, right? Well, these guys will come in from different company. PDR guys, right? And basically, the insurance will pay us, and then we'll sublet to them, right? You can make money doing that, you know, but you're just managing the job for these people, like, you know, and you could make money with it, you know. I don't know. We kind of just stay away from doing that. We used to kind of do that for a while, but then it's like, it's something else that we have to manage, when we can say, you know what, let's focus that attention on, like, building our customers. Let's figure out how we're gonna get customers in our door, you know. And a lot of times, I mean, you might get stuck on that money, you know, on that money. This is from the storm a couple months ago. We're still backed up with jobs. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, they'll back up your shop. Like, you have a bunch of hell jobs, and, you know, you're relying on this one company to come through,
Yeah.
and get them all done for you. I mean, what I would do, Daniel, is I would go and buy some hell damage equipment tools, because you can buy, like, some of those the glue tabs.
Yeah. to
And
pull out.
yeah, so what it is, they're little tabs, and you glue them on, and there's like a gun, and you pop it up, and it'll pop some of the dents out. So you can even attempt doing that, uh, to do the work. But yeah, the hell jobs. I mean, there's money in it. We don't really fool with that. Uh, even the paint side, because like let's say you're gonna do a whole roof, right? And it has hail damage. You can either replace the whole roof, the skin, or just repair them. And when you're repairing it, you're just doing body work on the whole roof. Um, yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then lastly for today, dealing with disputes. Maybe there's a customer that might be difficult, or you you took you sublet a job somewhere and the shop's being difficult. Maybe the insurance not giving you the hours you want.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have difficulties in every business. I mean, the thing that with let's just say for example, a customer's upset. I'll give you a good example, right? Okay, we did this. We got referred this customer a while back. We got referred a customer from a good customer of ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of were like just going through our process to where like we know what vehicles need to go out for the week, and like we're just focused on getting those vehicles out. And a lot of times, before, there was miscommunication. Like sometimes like people will call and we don't answer the phone, but it goes to the podium,
Yeah.
so we can still catch the call, right? And so one thing that happened was we did a customer's vehicle, and we thought that we were kind of like trying to like help, but we were kind of like making the situation worse,
Yeah.
right? Because it was like hey, your vehicle's gonna be ready Thursday, right? Okay, what time? Well, hopefully we can have it done, by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Okay, well, is it gonna be done for sure or not? Because I don't have a ride. Like I work, I'm busy. Like I don't have time to be going back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
and so we were like, you know what? Like if we have to go drop it off to you, we can. Like if
Yeah.
she's like, I don't have a ride to go over there and get it. Like I'm gonna have to find a ride. And so we're like, hey, if you need us to go drop it off, we can. If you want us to do that, or if we need to go pick you up, we can do that. What would be easier, right? And so it was a lot of like miscommunication, and so finally they picked up the vehicle, right? And she was like, you know what, like y'all's communication was horrible, and so that's when we got the podium, because I was like, man, like we gotta figure out how to streamline the communication,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still not perfect, like I know we had a customer that was upset about the communication the other day, and like it was like, I take that as like, hey, you know what, like we still need to improve on this, like we,
Mm-hmm.
like if instead of saying, oh, that's they're just pissed off and like whatever, like I look at it saying, hey, you know what, like this is a chance for us to get better, like, so it's almost like saying, hey, like you need to get you can make this better.
Yeah. This is your weak point.
Yeah, there's a weak point here, like make it better,
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't avoid, I mean you can, but a lot of times they point out your weak points.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if someone says, hey, y'all need to do this better, then you can get pissed off about it, or you can say, hey, you know what, you're right, like I never thought about that.
Yeah.
We can get better,
Mm-hmm.
because see, if it wasn't for that lady, we wouldn't have got podium,
Yeah.
and with the podium, with the tech system, like it does so much. I'm like, dude, this thing is badass. Like
They could send pictures, and we could go back and
yeah,
look at it.
and it also like we all can see the message, so we're all on the same page, and so like even with we can send the appointment link.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually take payments through Podium. Like you can send like group texts.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. So like, you can look at it as a bad thing, or you can say, man, you know what, like, because of that situation, it actually made us better,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know, hopefully, like, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, if someone says, hey, you know what, like, uh, let's just say, for example, like, we fixed your car 5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh yeah, that place was dirty, and it's like, you know, whatever, right? But then I just got my car done there, and I'm like, yeah, I just got my car fixed over here, and you're like, yeah, that place is dirty, and they don't like their phone system sucks, and like, no, well, actually, like the place is like they remodeled it, like it's
Yeah.
nice, and like I got to look inside the shop, and like, you know, they actually sent me a text like when my vehicle was ready, and like I sent them photos. And so now it's like, okay, wow, you know what? Like they actually improved, so that's pretty cool. You know, so that's cool. You know, just to kind of make sure that you're improving.
Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap it up for
We're
today.
gonna wrap it up already.
Yes.
Nice. All right, guys. Hey, guys. So let me know if you have any questions. Definitely put comment on our YouTube. And I appreciate Daniel, man. Daniel's always showing some love, man. I appreciate Daniel, and keep doing your thing, brother, man. And if you're live on TikTok, we're here live every Tuesday, and we're gonna be going live on the phone now. And I just have a good tan. Look at that. Huh?
You do have a good tan.
Huh?
Look. You have that bodybuilder tan
Oh
going.
yeah. It's a spray tan.
You've been using the tanning booth at the gym.
Anyway, guys. Hey, guys. Till next week, every Tuesday, we're gonna be live. And if y'all have any questions, man, drop the questions. Drop the questions on our YouTube, TikTok. I'll post this. I'll repost this video on TikTok,
Even DM.
on the DMs, on the Instagram. Hit us up, man. We'll definitely get to your questions. And if there's anything we can help you out with your business, starting a business, expanding, getting your systems in place, give us a call, man. I was gonna say the certified. I was gonna say the Massive Action Podcast. Later, guys.